ना बोलो ना. Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 8.21. Though this heading is not rightly presenting the question, I would like to share very important factor. Either we have solved a question associated with spoiled products, or I'm using the word or we have solved the question according to defective production. But surprisingly, when you will see this question, volume is in front of you, and you can see there are two words present over here. Defective, here I am pointing out defective goods are present in the question, and secondly, spoiled goods are also present in the question. This is the main twist of question. I have said that in previous question, either we were dealing the spoiled goods in the question, or separately in other question we were dealing with the defective goods. So this is the first time when spoiled and defective goods are present in the question at the same time. So what you will do? Normally when there was a question related to defective goods, we used to have three main journal entries on left and right side. And when we were dealing with spoiled goods, we were having three main entries on left and right side. But what we will do if defective and spoiled goods are present at the same time? As you know that first entry for all defective and spoiled parts, first entry is same. So what we will do, first entry would be written as it is. Then we will have our defective entry, third would be spoiled entry, and fourth will be finished goods entry. So instead of solving separately, what we will do, spoiled and defective goods would be written at the same time. So come over here and you will see that we have our journal entries. On left side, we will be putting four entry. First entry, work in process, and that would be associated with material. And then we would have work in process for labor. Third would be work in process for FH. Here I would like to request one thing. To understand this question, you will have to spare some time. You would not jump, and you will have to hear it with coolness and calmness. So request is what? Spare your time and hear everything carefully. To material, to labor, and to FH is as similar as it was in previous questions. Narration for this question, this entry would be started work started for total goods. Work started on total number of units or good. This was first entry, and keep it in mind it is same for any part of defective or any part of spoiled, either it is for not charged to the production or charged to the production. Secondly, we will introduce here entry for defective goods. So rework on defective goods would be the narration, and as you know, again work in process material will be used for rework, additional material. Then in the similar way, work in process for labor, we will use additional labor. And finally, work in process for FH, we will be using raw material will go out, so you will put material, labor, and FH. Rework would be done in the same manner. So first time what we are going to do here, third entry we used to write about finished goods. Here we will not be writing spoiled goods and we will not be writing finished goods entry. Instead of this, we will enter spoiled goods recovery. As in our question, spoiled goods recovery would be put over here. And how we do complete this entry? First, spoiled goods and then to work in process but for material, and then work in process for labor, finally work in process for FH. In this way we will complete our third entry, and finally the fourth entry would be for finished goods. And what do we write? Finished goods to work in process for material, to work in process for labor, or to work in process for FH. So let's align them to the right side to make them visible on credit side. So this way your final entry would be completed. Right now what we are doing, just completing our journal entries. Finished goods cost would be calculated over here. As we have completed our journal entries, we will now be putting amounts on that. So we will go back to the question, and there is a surprise for you. We used to write here the formula units multiplied by per unit to calculate the amount, but surprisingly amount is already been calculated. Initial cost incurred production per unit is not mentioned over here. It means it is total cost. So 340,000 would be put directly over here, cost of material. Then we will see what is cost of labor, 120,000. So you will put 120,000 in front of labor. Let's see what is next. As you can see that here we have factory overhead, which is 1/3 of labor cost. So labor cost 1/3. To calculate it, we will use here our calculations. Labor is 120,000, and you need to take, I forgot how much, 1/3. So here you will take 1/3 of labor. How? Would be multiplied by 1 and would divided by 3. In this way you will be able to calculate your FH. And what I am doing, just putting these calculation statement is completed. It's time to calculate 120,000 multiply by 1 and divided by 1. It's not being put over here. So 120,000 multiplied by 1 divided by 3. In this way we have calculated our cost of FH. This new sheet has arrived over here. Let me finish it. Task window is not needed. Okay, and second thing is whatever would be present on debit side, you will be posting same amount on credit side. So 340,000, we are following actually the rule of accounting. Debit and credit side would always be equal. So amount present over here has been written on credit side as well. And what last we have calculated 120,000, 1/3 was FH. So you have calculated labor cost was 120,000, and you have taken 1/3 of it. In this way our first entry has been completed, and now we will be working on defective goods rework. At this stage it is narrated over here. Final inspection, 40 kg chemical is found defective. The defect is rectified by incurrence of following additional costs. So we have made these additional costs. Again, there is a little ease in our question because per unit is not mentioned, total amount is given. So we will directly be posting on rework. Kindly make your mind and clear your concept that it is rework for the defective goods. Direct material 10,000, So you will put 10,000 over here. Then we will see how much labor, how much additional labor was used. Defective labor 1500. So you can put 1500 over here. Then finally for FH, it has been said that one third of direct labor cost. One third, again, as you have calculated one third over here, in similar way you will also be calculating one third as well. Your labor cost is 1500 and you will take one third multiply by 1 divided by 3, put over here, and since it was calculation we are making it little different. Statement is completed. You will take 1500 and will be multiplied by 1 divided by 3. In this way you have calculated your FH as well. We will apply accounting principle where debit side would always be equal to credit side. So whatever is written on debit would be written in credit side as well. Our second entry has been completed. It's time to see for spoiled recovery. For that you will come over here and you can see that on final inspection 20 kg chemical is categorized as spoiled. The spoiled production can be sold for 400. So formula for spoiled goods, as we know, is units which are spoiled, and you will multiply it with its sale price. And this is mentioned over here, final inspection 20 kg spoiled and per unit 400. So 20 and 400 is our requirement. 20 units were spoiled and you need to multiply per unit sale price, which is 400. In this way you have completed your calculation for spoiled goods. Statement is completed. Let's put it on calculator. 20 multiply by 400, 800 as a right, sorry 8000. And again a test of your memory, how do we calculate our amounts present over here? For that we do calculations, and calculations are, first I will let you know over here. 8000 would be multiplied by individual total 340 and grand total, which is sum of these three amounts. So first step is to take sum of these three amounts. For that we will go downward and we need to calculate spoiled work in process material. For that formula is already present right here. Fonts are very large, so let them little down. Formula B, it should be in your mind, but we are doing spoiled work in process material we want to calculate, and in question I have already let you understand how to calculate. This 8000 is spoiled recovery. You will multiply it with individual total 340 and grand total of it. For right now we are taking these amounts. Instead of going up and down, we will write over here. So these were three amounts. First we will take their sum. So sum of these three amount is 5 lakh. Now come over here. What do you want to calculate? Spoiled work in process material. Here you need to have spoiled amount. Go back to the question and you can see spoiled amount is 8000. So first you will write down 8000 total spoiled, and then you need to multiply by small m, individual total. Individual total of material is written over here 340,000, and you need to divide it. This is your grand total 5 lakh. So 340,000 divided by 5 lakh. Statement is completed. Now you can put it on your calculator. Actually font is still very large. Let me handle it to decrease at 14. Okay, so you have calculated your amount over here. Now we are putting it on calculator. 8,000 multiply by 3,40,000 and divided by 5 lakh. Okay, so we have our amount for spoiled goods. Let it be checked again. 8,000, 340,000 and 5 lakh. First amount has arrived. Then you will calculate your spoiled work in process for labor. Formula is in front of you. Spoiled amount would be same, 8,000. Please be focused. You need to multiply it. 8,000 we have written over here. You need to multiply it with labor cost. Second was labor cost 120,000, and you need to divide it with grand total, which was 5 lakh. 120,000, 8,000. Statement is completed. Now let's put it on calculator. 8,000 multiply by 120,000. When there are so many calculations in question, there is possibility of error. We'll have to extreme care. That is why even I'm the teacher, but I am looking forward if zeros are accurate, if amount is accurate. So 5 lakh, 120,000 and 8,000. We have got our second amount. And where this amount have gone? We have calculated it. Okay, that's the thing. Sometimes Excel don't cooperate. Multiply by 340,000 divided by 8,000 multiply by 340,000 and divided by 5 lakh. 340,000, 5 lakh, 8,000. Now we will be calculating our third amount, which was spoiled goods for work in process FH. This is not what we do want. We need to have spoiled FH. So spoiled work in process for FH we will calculate. For that, what do you need? Amount of spoiled recovery or spoiled amount. This would be multiplied by individual total of labor, which will be called capital L, and divide it with total cost. Spoiled amount, as we have used here, would be similar in all entries. 8,000 is amount of spoiled. How we have taken? As you know, in question you have already calculated spoiled amount 8,000. Then our next step is to see individual total of FH. It is actually FH, and we will make it right. This was third entry, which was for FH. Let's carry on our calculation. Multiply by F is 40,000, cost of factory overhead. Then you need to divide it with grand total, which was 5 lakh. So 120. Okay, statement is completed. Put it on calculator. 8,000 multiply by 40,000 and divided by 5 lakh. So again, all three amounts have been calculated. We will go to the question. These were the amounts for spoiled goods. Here you have your first amount, work in process material, and where you have calculated it, this was your spoiled work in process material. Calculated amount was 5440, put over here. Then you need to have spoiled work in process for labor, and you have calculated here spoiled work in process for labor. Amount was 1920, put over here. Then you have work in process FH. This was calculated over here. Spoiled work in process for FH. Amount was 640. So you can put it over here. It's time to see the calculation. We will have to verify it. The sum of these three amounts should be equal to spoiled goods recovery 8,000. Just for rough working we are doing over here. First amount was 544, then second 1920, then 640 was the third amount. Total is equal to 8,000. It means we are good to go. Next, three entries as you can see we have completed. Now for fourth entry, again we are totally dependent upon ledgers. For finished goods we will make ledger for work in process material. Work in process material ledger we are going to make. Okay, and here you will go to the question. Instead of two entries, in this question we have three entries. First, work in process material we have found out 340,000 on debit side. So you will write 340,000 on debit. Then go back to the question. Again we have found work in process material on debit side 10,000. So you will put 10,000 on debit side. Go back. And now you can see work in process material is present on credit side 5440. So you will put 5440 over here. In this calculations are completed, and in all entries you can see that work in process is debited and credit is material. Work in process material debit, credit is material. So what you will do, narration would be same for everything. To material over here and to material we will be putting over here as well. For 5440 we have reference spoiled goods. You can put over here by spoiled goods. In this way our ledger posting is completed. It's time to take the balance. How? You will take sum of both sides. So here sum of debit side 350,000 and sum of credit side would remain 5440 as only one amount is mentioned over here. Then you will take the larger balance. Larger balance was 350,000 and you will be putting the same balance on total of both sides, and 350,000 was written on debit side. 350,000 would also be written on credit side. Now you will choose the smaller side, which is credit, to do what? To calculate your balance. And how do you calculate? By subtracting smaller balance from the larger balance. Your larger balance is 350,000, subtract smaller balance 5440. In this way you have got your first amount 344,560. And here you are required to write the amount you have calculated from the ledger 344,560. In the similar way, just today we will not spare it. We will be making all ledgers. Work in process for labor, and we will see where work in process labor is present. Debit 1,20,000. So you will be putting 1,20,000 over here. Then you see work in process labor was also present on debit side 1,500. So here second amount would arrive as 1,500. In third entry, this is your third entry, work in process labor is also present 1,920. So you can put 1,920. I'm just referring you since you are doing so many entries. So there may be possible 10 less, 10 more. It is a general and very normal human error. I'm very hopeful that it should not be happening, but let's see after we will complete, we'll see if it happens. For work in process labor, you can see labor is written on opposite side. So for reference, what you will do, you will use 2 labor over here, again 2 labor over here, and for 1920 this was 1920, and what is written opposite side? Spoiled goods. As in previous ledger you have used the same thing. Okay, now it's time to calculate the balance, for which we will calculate sum of both sides. This is sum of debit side, and then you will calculate sum of credit side, which is 1920. Then you will take the larger sum 1210, and you will be posting on total of both sides, after which you will choose smaller side, which is credit. There you will calculate the balance by subtracting smaller sum from the larger sum 121, smaller sum 192. So you have calculated your second amount as well. We'll go to the third entry. We have calculated work in process labor through its ledger. This was the ledger work in process labor, and balance was calculated 119580. So second amount has also been calculated. It's time to see our third amount. For third amount we will again be making ledger for work in process FH. At this stage, we will again go back to the question and will observe work in process FH. First amount we have seen on debit side 40,000. So you will write 40,000 over here. Then we will see our second amount work in process FH is 500 again on debit side. So 500 would be put over here. Then in third entry, you will see work in process FH. Here work in process FH is present on credit side 640. So you will write 640 on credit side. Reference is same to FH, again to FH, and over here on credit side the reference would be by spoiled goods. Input has been completed. It's time to calculate the balance, where we will calculate sum of both sides. Sum of debit side is 40,500. Sum of credit side is only 640, as one amount was mentioned. Then you will take the larger sum, which was 40,000, and you will be putting the same sum on total of both sides. You will choose the smaller side, which is credit, and let me make little more space over here. At this stage you will be calculating your balance. How? By subtracting smaller sum from the larger sum. Larger sum was 40,500, subtract smaller sum 640. So you have got 39860. This is your calculation for the third entry, and you have calculated your work in process FOH ledger, and balance was 39860. You can put over here. In this way your amount has been completed. How do we calculate finished product? For that we will apply simple accounting principle. Sum of credit should be equal to sum of debit side. On credit side we do have three amounts. We will take all these three amounts, 34,119 and 394 FH. All three amounts are calculated over here. In this way cost of finished goods has been calculated, and the amount which we have calculated is 504,000. Let's go to the answer sheet. First part, as you can see, you have solved cost of finished goods is 504,000. So in spite of so many amounts we have calculated over here, it's good thing to share with you that our answer is 100% accurate. In this way, left part is completed. You have experience of doing these questions. You know that right side part is so easy. What you will do, you will just copy these entries and will directly post to the right side. Even amounts are same. For second entry, there is a change since we are charging to production in second entry. So you will take credit side as it is, but for debit side you will introduce a new word which is FH. On debit side, let it be aligned on debit side, and that's all. Your amounts would be similar, but instead of writing work in process on debit side, you will skip them and will be writing only FH. These two lines are spare just to synchronize the question, so don't bother about that. And FH would be calculated how? As there is no formula for FH over here. So what you will do, you will take sum of amounts present on credit side 10,000, then you will take 1500, and then you will take 500. This way your sum has also been calculated. Two entries are completed. For third entry, what you will do, you will take this third entry and will write similarly on right side, except for one thing. What you will do, you will introduce a new word, and that's again your FH. Its size is little bigger, let's make it appropriate. This FH we will calculate, and how do we calculate? As you know, the loss of spoiled goods. For that we need to have working. Please do understand, we need per unit cost of each. So first we will calculate the total cost. For total, oh god, for total cost you must have per unit material and then per unit labor and then per unit FH. How would we calculate it? Method is very simple, and per unit cost formula is universal. How would you calculate? Total cost of material divided by units, and same formula will be used for labor as well. You need to have total cost of labor and divided by units, and then for FH, total cost of FH, that would be divided by number of units. Now we'll go back to the question when we'll see total number of units and amount of cost. We have already written over here, this is cost of material, this is cost of labor, and this is cost of FH, and that can be put directly over here. But I will let you know from where we have taken 340, 120 and 40. In your question at start it was mentioned over here, this is total cost of material, total cost of labor, total cost of FH. Number of units produced. The company, in anticipation of spoiled production, that means there was a fear of spoiled product, you have uh, started production of 400 while order was 360, but due to fear of spoiled goods they have produced 400 number of units. Over here you will calculate per unit cost of material, and as you know, total cost of material I have showed you in the question, 340,000. It would be divided by number of unit, that is also been shown, 400, and finally we will calculate per unit cost of material. In the similar way, per unit cost of labor, this is total cost of labor 120,000. It would be divided by number of units, 400. In this way we can calculate per unit cost of labor. Then per unit cost of FH, 40,000 is cost of FH. It would be divided by number of unit, 400. All three per unit cost will be calculated in this way, and we will be calculating per unit over here, 340,000 divided by 400. So here your first per unit cost will arrive and you need to make space Unfortunately, it's okay. 850 we have got per unit cost of material. Now per unit cost of labor 120,000 divided by 400. So we have got second per unit cost and third per unit cost 40,000 divided by 400. So we have got third, and total we can calculate by taking sum of these three amounts. This is our total per unit cost and we can take it over here. So guys, when you have calculated total cost, this is your total cost which was given in the question, and you will see how much price you have received, total sale per unit. This was total cost per unit which was given in question, and here total sale price per unit which is also given in the question. You will go and see how much we have received. 20 kg is categorized as spoiled. The spoiled production can be sold 400 per unit. So we have got our per unit sale price as 400. Cost was 1250. Sale is 400. It's time to calculate our loss per unit. And how would you calculate loss per unit? For that, just see the difference. Cost was 1250 and you have sold them for just 400. Remaining amount would be considered as your loss. 850 is your loss per unit. Go back to your question. We were completing this entry. For FH, what we do need, the formula for loss is spoiled units multiplied by loss. Okay, we have got the formula of previous question. Here just by changing the number of units. Number of units spoiled are mentioned over here 20, and you need to multiply it with per unit loss, which we have just calculated. Per unit loss is 850. So here you will be putting your per loss. Actually it was not merged. Let's merge it and align on left side. So 20 units were spoiled and 850 per unit loss we have calculated. This way you can calculate amount of FH. Statement is completed. Now let's calculate 20 multiplied by 850. So loss has also been calculated. Come down and please see it again. You can take screenshot over here. So what you have done, per unit cost was calculated in this way. Total sum of these three amounts, then you have sold 400, 850 loss. It's time to calculate your amounts present on credit side. As you know, these amounts would be calculated in terms of formula and same way which you have used over here. So you will use these formulas as it is for calculation of work in process. These would be present, but here there will be a slight change. You will add both spoiled recovery and add loss over here in second case. I will let you know that. Here there were two elements present over here. 8,000 was recovery, 17,000 was loss. So you will put both. 8,000 was recovery and then 17,000 was your loss. Remaining everything we will be doing in similar way. You need to multiply capital M divided by cost, and that's what you have written over here. This was your cost of material and this was total. Same 340 divided by 5 lakh. You will be putting same over here. 340,000 and it would be divided by 5 lakh. 5 lakh. Okay. Your statement is completed. Now let's put it on calculator. 8,000 plus 17,000, it would be multiplied by 340,000 and divided by 5 lakh. So first amount has been calculated, that is 17,000. Let it be checked again. 8,000 plus 17,000 multiplied by 340,000 divided by 5 lakh. Surprisingly, same amount is coming over here. Then you have your second formula, your spoiled goods for labor. Spellings are mistakenly written over here. Spoiled goods, let's make them correct. Spellings are not that much important, so and here we will change our formula as we have changed in earlier. There you will add your loss as well. Spoiled amount would remain same. Loss was 17,000. So only change you will make, instead of total cost of material, you will put total cost of labor over here. 8,000 spoiled goods same. 17,000 would be same, except for this amount 340,000. As you can see, your cost of labor is 120,000. So you will remove this 3,40,000. Instead you will write 120,000. This way your statement is completed. Now you can put it on calculator. 8,000, then add 17,000, multiply it with 1,20,000 and then divide by 5 lakh. 5 lakh, 120,000, 17,000, 8,000. So we have got our second amount of work in process. Then we need to have this third amount. Same, there's again a little bit spelling. We have done it. Okay, beside this, what you will do, you will add in this formula amount of loss as well. Everything would be similar to above two formulas, except what we will change, instead of labor cost we will put here factory overhead cost. Spoiled amount is same, 8,000, then amount of loss 17,000, put brackets over here, and then you need to multiply by factory overhead cost. Factory overhead cost, okay, page gone. Factory overhead cost was 40,000. So let's put 40,000 over here and divided by 5 lakh as usual total cost. Statement is completed. Now let's calculate 8,000 plus 17,000, bracket closed, multiply it with 40,000 divided by 5 lakh. So we have got our third amount. A sign was missing over here. This is not needed. Again it comes. Let's remove it. Task window is not needed. Okay, there was a sign missing. After, before 40,000 we need to put multiply. So all three amounts we have calculated. Let's go back to the journal entry, what we were doing over here. Loss and spoiled goods were calculated. These amounts were not present, and now we are going to write all of these three amounts. First amount, work in process material, you have calculated over here. This was your work in process material. Amount calculated was 17,000, put over here. Second amount was work in process labor, and you have calculated work in process labor over here. Work in process labor was calculated here. Amount is 6,000, which was calculated, put in front of work in process labor. Third amount was work in process FH, and this was calculated here. Spoiled work in process FH amount was calculated as 2,000. put over here. Now we will check as the total should be equal to this. It's simple. 17,000 is written over here, 6 and 2,000, 8,000. So we are satisfied that amount is okay. Right now we have completed 3 entries. In second case where loss would be charged to the production. And finally our third entry would be absolutely same. So we will take entry from left side, we'll put same entry on right side as well. Just with the difference of amounts, here we will make work in process material ledger. Without ledger, you can make amount of work in process material as well, but that would sometimes be conflicting and confusing. So we will make the ledger. To make it, we will be focusing on work in process material. 340,000 is written on debit side. So put 340,000 on debit side. Reference as usual would be used to material. Then go back and see if work in process again is present. Second entry, no. Third entry, yes, we have work in process 17,000 on credit side. So 17,000 would be put on credit side, and there are two references, spoiled and work in process. Inputs are completed. Now we are going to calculate the balance. How? We will take the sum of both sides. Since there are only two amounts present here over here, so sum would be 340 and 17. Larger sum would be posted on both sides. Debit side 340, credit side 340,000. After which you will go to the smaller side. Smaller side was credit. Here you will calculate the balance. How? You will subtract larger sum and smaller sum. Larger sum was 340,000 and you will subtract smaller sum which was 17,000. In this way you have calculated your first balance work in process. You will go to the question, and this was the place where it was required to be put work in process material, and you have completed your ledger work in process material. Its balance was calculated 323,000. It had arrived here. Now I will let you know the direct method where without making ledger you can calculate. You will have to just be careful about the signs. Work in process labor is present on debit side. Second entry, no work in process. Third entry, work in process labor is present on credit. First debit, second credit, opposite side, opposite sign. So what you will do, 120,000 and 6,000 is in our relationship. To calculate amount of labor, you will be going up. Here work in process labor amount is present, and next you have second labor amount present on the credit side. So what you will do, you will subtract these amounts and can directly calculate over here. Hopefully you have understood, and again I'm letting you know, without making ledger you can make, but still I am warning you, requesting you, insisting you will make ledgers. And I have made ledger for work in process material. By looking at it you can do that. So first amount work in process FH was present over here. It was on debit side, and then you will see second amount was present in second entry, no work in process. In third entry you have work in process on credit side. Put negative sign in between these two. You will be able to calculate your third amount as well. For fourth entry, there is no formula for finished goods. What you will do, you will apply simple accounting principle which says that debit and credit side would always be equal. On credit side, there are three amounts. What you will do, you will take sum of these three amounts and will write over here. In this way, finished goods amount has also been calculated for second part as well. This is your finished goods, 4,70,000. Let's check the answer. Here we have second part, and the answer is 4,75,000. In this way, you have completed your second part for 75,000. Here it is. Both answers we have matched. First answer was 504,000. It is over here. And second answer is 475. It is there. And there is another answer, cost of spoiled goods 17,000. And this you can see the loss or the spoiled loss or the loss which is charged to the production 17,000. And it is mentioned over here 17,000. All three answers are matched, and though I have let you prepared doing these many entries, there is possibility of human error, but thankfully no single zero was put, no rectification has been made, no editing has been made. It was absolutely a live lecture and all amounts were put in front of you without having any discrepancy. In this way, our question number 5.8.21 has been completed. Hopefully you people have understood, but even then if you have any query, any problem, any question, you can directly ask, text, message, or you are very open to meet as well. Thank you very much for your time. We will surely be meeting for solution of any other question in future, inshallah. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I am requesting you to pray for me as well. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.